I can't be the only one that wants to see Tifa have a full cutscene animated cinematic fight with the actual sun. I just think that would be cool to see Tifa actually slugfested with these divine entities, and actual cinematics and such. When you think of Final Fantasy VII, it's probably believable to understand on why someone like Cloud can hit really hard. He can hit with crazy destructive force. I mean, just look at that big old sword. Who wouldn't be able to hit hard swinging that big thing around, right? And the fact he's actually been enhanced. So yeah, it's believable for somebody like Cloud to be strong. He's an enhanced human. Mako doesn't exist in real life, but there's this energy source known as Mako in the Final Fantasy VII universe, which they're enhanced by, which is the reason why you're probably going to see me bring up monsters in this video. But that's the reason why monsters and soldiers and beings like that exist, because of this Mako energy manipulation or enhancements to beings and such. Some beings look human still, even though they're enhanced, but some beings are enhanced higher, so that's why they look like monsters and look drastically different. They have higher Mako levels. That explains the superhumanness a little bit in this universe. And Cloud was literally experimented on. So that's probably believable on why Cloud's strong, right? But you ever wondered, why the heck is Tifa so strong? She's not enhanced, right? See, Tifa's pretty cool because she's one of those characters where she is all about throwing hands or kicks. Let's analyze how strong she is and why she's strong. Just for confusion purposes, because it can get a bit messy in Final Fantasy VII lore. I mean, Final Fantasy VII, the original, and Final Fantasy Rebirth and Remake are basically the same concept, but for confusion purposes, because they do have differences between the two, I'm going to be mainly focusing on the Remake event stuff, even though it's inevitable I have to reference some stuff in the past games because of their backstories being similar to the OG games and stuff, because it's kind of the same concept, so I'll bring up some of that stuff from back here and there, but I'll be mainly focused on the feats in this saga. Remake, Rebirth, you know what I mean? One of the many reasons why I want to separate videos, even though Tifa in the past and Tifa now is pretty much the same concept, the reason why I want to separate them in different videos, because gameplay mechanics and stuff, little things here and there have changed to the point where in Remake, we see her struggling to lift up a normal-sized human in time to time throughout the games, but in the original, she can quite literally suplex anything, no matter how big the thing is. It's implied Tifa can literally suplex anything in the original stuff. But the new games, they act like her lifting power is like trash or something, unless they retcon it in the final saga of Rebirth or something, which hasn't come out yet at the time of me making this video. Like, it looked like she suplexed this thing, like, literally. Like, I don't know how they're going to do this in the Rebirth saga in the last game or not. Are they going to even add this? Like, that's why I want to just make them separate, because can you imagine this in PS5? Graphics. She's still strong in this saga in her own right still, though, when it comes to how hard she can hit. I mean, she can punch ridiculously hard. Or kick ridiculously hard or with superhuman force. She's a respectable character because she's strong without technically any Mako enhancements. Even though this universe is anime-esque, where you can achieve amazing things just being a human, but I just think that's cool that she's this strong that you're going to see throughout this video without technically no enhancements. But the reason why she is strong is because throughout the course of time, she has gotten stronger as time went by. I mean, she started off as an ordinary human, ended up becoming superhuman levels. She was tired of being a damsel in distress, and in the lore, they talk about how she wanted to start learning how to fight herself. Because in this world, when you put your mind and body to one thing, you can achieve amazing things. They imply in this universe, when it comes to other characters, they talk about it. They talk about how your mind and body acting together as one. It helps your power. It's one of those situations they probably could make a prequel game just talking about Tifa's past, talking about her training. I'm interested in that kind of stuff. Maybe a DLC talking about how she got strong would be cool to me. All this happened off screen, but yeah, in the lore, she was trained by this guy right here, known as Zangan. Shoot, they should invite him to the party in Final Fantasy. This dude's very strong. He's a traveler of the world and a teacher of the martial arts. Seriously, why don't this guy get recruited to the party? I mean, he has 128 students. Why don't the whole crew just get together to take on Sephiroth? Let me stop. Because I'm curious on what kind of training he did for Tifa. We never got any super detail on her training, but one could say the art of manipulating your chi could exist in Final Fantasy, because one of her moves, I know this is a gameplay move, but like they say chi trap. So one could say Tifa could be one of those characters where she could know how to manipulate her inner energy in her body chi that's not necessarily related to materia, on the reason why she could be so strong. That could be part of the reason why she can punch hard, which you can see throughout this vid. Because this move right here isn't necessarily related to materia. She can literally apparently shoot out a piece of chi, materialized chi from her body, like energy projection, without necessarily relying on materia. But that's just my thought process on it. This could be just a gameplay mechanic, but what do you think? Do you think she can actually shoot out real chi in the lore? I think she can. They wouldn't have put it in her moveset, Like in this occasion, there's implications she could be imbuing her leg with some type of energy. Like you see the glow, like there could be implications of chi manipulation. Like we don't really know, but like this could be materia enhancements or chi manipulate. Like, yeah, it just implied that she has some type of enhanced attack type of stuff. Like this happened in Rebirth. It's even mentioned that Tifa doesn't get tired as much because of all the training she's been doing. She's not even close to burned out, she says. Like she already has superhuman physicals, but she seems to be actually a martial arts fighter. Like you see her doing a hold here, for example, like a grapple hold. Like she gets stuff done. You see everybody using weapons most of the time in the crew, but you see her just using straight hands. Like, she's such a beast. She literally got fans that want to work out and be in the gym. She got a whole bunch of fans that are inspired by her that she didn't even know about, that are inspired to go to the gym to be like her. She actually likes to find excuses to work out. She's real disciplined. Like, she even monitors her food meal prep-wise properly. In lore right here, it pretty much talks about how she can easily dispatch an ordinary man with ease. And the fact that she can fight these guys, which I'm going to bring up a lot in this video. These beings are superhumanly strong, too. These Turk beings. You know, these elite fighters for the electric power company, Shinra, of course, like these Turks she can fight with. They're very strong. These beings are also considered superhuman, eccentric type beings. But yeah, she's strong, which I'm going to get to in a bit. But yeah, she has standard gear she uses too. Like there's these orbs that are passed down from these beings known as the Cetra. They possess the planet's knowledge and stuff. Like these super orbs that Tifa uses in battle, depending on which one she uses in battle, or whatever one she's carrying with her. These orbs allow her to do versatile abilities like casting magic of all sorts, basically confirming she's an energy projector with this materia in her slots or in her hand or whatever she's using at that moment. She can cast spells that allow her to summon different creatures depending on which materia she has on her or the party. I'm going to bring up summons again in this video, but just to give you an idea, these summon beings do exist. They show up in cutscenes to show they are a part of the lore, like these summon entities. This is important to understanding that power level a little bit in a bit when I go back over this. It all goes back to that Mako energy stuff I was talking about earlier. The energy of the planet condenses, it makes its own little orbs. In this particular situation, these more naturally formed materia, it was condensed materia. It is more than just a magic stone, they say, but they say it is that too. And they say it's the planet's memories and knowledge. You know, that's why they can cast magic, because it is materia. And Tifa has materia to where she can cast different types of spells and such. It's even reiterated when Yuffie was trying to join the crew. She literally looks at all the crew members and how they have materia, and Tifa was one of them when it comes to materia. But when it comes to Tifa, though, she can hit ridiculously hard. How hard can she punch, you say? I mean, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I already said this. It's pretty much proven that when it comes to basic old humans in this universe, Tifa is consistently shown to be able to curb stomp them with ease. She probably has to hold back because she stated, and it's implied if she wanted to, she could splatter being, like I'm talking about splattering them into pieces if she really kicked them with her full might. Technically, even when they're outnumbered, and this is when she didn't have no materia or gear on her at the moment because they had her gear at this second. Yeah, she didn't have her like materia gear. These normal humans, one could say she can easily just one-shot them with her kicks or punches, just one-shots them. Like this is without her materia or gear, so she's just that strong when it comes to how hard she can hit. One could say this is a 5 years ago Tifa. She still was strong enough to do this to a creature. Not to mention, let's just not talk about how she can jump ridiculously high in the air. Let's not talk about that. And she can just kick that hard. It doesn't seem like she has like her standard gear of having materia. This is just straight, raw kicking power, producing a shockwave and everything. There was like these steel beams falling. Of course, you know, Tifa's the one to kick them out the way with her superhuman kicking power. Saying she can hit or kick really hard is an oversimplification. Like I'm talking about, like, you remember how a little bit earlier how I brought up them creatures that are Mako enhanced? Remember how I showed earlier about how there's certain humans that are enhanced, but they're still human, but there's certain beings that have more Mako energy in them? Like higher levels of Mako energy, that's why they turn into monsters. Even with these beings being this massively amped up versus Tifa not being amped up at all by no Mako energies, they're monsters. Tifa has shown time and time again with just straight hands to be able to damage these beings and knock them out with her punches or kicks. One could say this could be partly because one could argue that materia being her gloves could be amping her punches up too, the reason why she's able to do this stuff. But part of me thinks she can just hit ridiculously hard though, you know, with just straight blunt concussive force. She hit this enhanced being so hard, she made her own shockwave, hit him off this. Bent the metal with her shockwave of her hit. So it lets you know what human you know can hit like this. You know, this Shinra electric power company has a lot of different technological advances. Like this guy right here is actually pretty smart. Even though he's a butthole, he's pretty smart. And they have a lot of these different super mechs or robotic type things. Tifa is a constant main party person when it comes to helping out Cloud, so don't be surprised if you hear me bring up Cloud a lot, but yeah, it's relevant to bring up Cloud. She's always helping Cloud fight these super strong robotic beings or entities, or even Sephiroth, which I'm gonna bring back up. She makes a habit of punching these steel bots. This is a great example of how hard she can hit. There's like this huge steel mech. You literally see her sticking with her punches. Yeah, big things this huge. So I think we all can agree she can punch or kick through brick walls with laughable ease. That's like a no duh, right? This is laughably easy. I mean, she has to be super strong. I mean, just look at the supernatural being Eligor, for example, one of the many beings they've had to fight as a party. You see the size difference between Tifa and this entity. It lets you know how hard she can hit because she literally got pissed here and said, let me kick you all the way that far back. Yeah, she can hit ridiculously hard. I mean, you got large pieces of concrete or debris right here. For example, Sephiroth was slinging with that much velocity. Tifa can kick and shatter it apart. That simple. And that seemed like that was easy. It's moments like this that imply if she was to kick the side of a building, this is how much destruction she could cause with just her kicking power, like some destructive kicks, right? I mean, honestly, her leveling buildings is an oversimplification, if we're being honest. When one of her moves, they literally describe her power of the kicks that she's hitting with is like the similarity to it being like a falling meteor. I mean, her move is called Meteor Strike, but they compare it to like falling meteorites in the game description. This could be like them just being nice, but I kind of think this should be taken literal based on what Final Fantasy and the party has to consistently fight. I mean, it's like two different ways the game explains it. They say pulverize the enemy with the force of a falling star, or they explain it like how she kicks like with the force of a falling meteorite. So for her to be able to collapse certain buildings, I definitely think that's plausible. If she can really hit, kick, or punch with the force of a meteorite, the way they explain it. If you're still skeptical about her being able to hit this hard, well, let's analyze it even further. See, here's the thing. To get a true understanding of her might is to look at the fight she's in with the main character, like Cloud, of course. Like, she's always right there, right next to him. She has to be somewhere in his league or she would be fodder. Like, I'm not really trying to make this a versus debate, but like, she's always with Cloud. I mean, it depends how you rank her. Do you think she's half his strength, 90%, 80%, equal all the way? Do you think she's 10% of his strength? It just depends on who do you think can hit harder by what degree? I think it's somewhere in the round of 80, 90, 75. Like, she got to be somewhere in this ballpark. Even if you don't want to say he's completely equal, you're probably wondering why is this relevant. I'm bringing this up for a reason, not to compare her to Cloud, but to get a true understanding of her might. You got to look at some of the elite fighters that Cloud himself has some sort of issues with, not necessarily saying they're as strong as Cloud. Cloud has some type of issues with these beings, one of them being Rude, one of the strongest fighters in Shinra, the corporation and such. I mean, and Tifa's like right there next to Cloud battling these beings, and they're having just as a hard time with Tifa, just like they're having a hard time with Cloud. Like, you see this being blocking an attacks from Cloud, like this ball being known as Rude, right? Just to show that Tifa is competent with these beings. You got a case like this where she hits him in midair, hits the other Turk, gets in a hand-to-hand fight with this Turk here, somebody that also be giving Cloud some sort of annoyances. Like, as you can see, they're both teaming up on him. And you even see Tifa get the advantage over him here. And this guy is literally blocking Cloud's sword attacks with his arms and stuff because he can project energy and stuff to protect himself and such. This same being, we actually seen Tifa get in a slugfest, would take his hits and just keep on fighting like she's not fodder in comparison to him. I want you guys to get a friendly reminder that these beings are stronger than what they look like. You see how huge this guy is, for example, muscle-wise? Despite this massive size, I just want to give you an idea of how strong these Turks are that Tifa and them are slugfesting with. Like, just physically speaking, like, despite the size difference, we see the Turk overpowering them still. So it lets you know that Tifa fist fighting with these beings is no easy feat. Like, they're way above superhuman levels of strength. Even when we're not talking about the guys when it comes to the Turks. They can do superhuman stuff like falling from the sky without no parachute and land with no issues to their legs getting splattered. Now you see what I mean when I say, even if you think Cloud is above her in physical, it's not by much. You know, she's in that same ballpark, even though she's not enhanced, you know? Like, we literally seen the same creatures that Cloud has issues with or parrying attacks from. We've seen her kick and hurt pieces of these same entities. She has to be somewhere in that ballpark. Matter of fact, that was this red dragon entity that Tifa was the one that technically finished it off. And Cloud was here too. Tifa with just a super kick is able to do this to it. This entity. What do you know? Tifa's here fighting something that was fighting the entire party of every character, Cloud included. We see Tifa use her hands to punch this being. I mean, look at the size of this creature. Yeah, she's just punching it with her straight hands. Not to mention she was helpful in even getting the win on this thing. She has to be in that ballpark, as you can see her helping do a super attack on it here, based on how hard she can hit. Like, I'm really trying to hammer it home that she can compete with beings that give Cloud some issues. These super strong fighters, for example, like, we literally seen her kick and counter them in consistent stuff, like big creatures or just strong human type entities. And I'm not saying she's as strong as Sephiroth, but we did see her do this to Sephiroth, though. So that had Cloud trapped. And because when it comes to summons, like, you remember the thing I brought up earlier about how they can summon creatures? Like, to get an idea of these powerhouses, Cloud, Tifa, the strong people of the group, you got to get an idea of how strong they are compared to the summons, like the actual creatures they summon to help them in battle. This obviously depends on what materia she has on her at the moment. That's not really the point. The point is that these summon entities that can help them in battle, we've actually seen Final Fantasy characters on screen actually fight these ridiculously godly divine entity type beings. Like, you remember how I already brought up how she has to be somewhere in the ballpark with Cloud and how hard she can hit and stuff. This same concept should apply for beings like Zack, who is literally fights just like Cloud. I mean, for obvious reasons, right? Tifa should be in this range of how hard she can hit, range of power. We literally seen them actually getting confrontations with like a literal summon to kind of show that these fighters really be competing with these summons, kind of. And even in the new game, with certain summons like Gilgamesh, for example, we've seen Cloud and the gang crew in general just interact with and clash with. Like, this is important to understand Tifa too, because this lets you know that these party members can literally fight one-on-one with these different summon entities or some of them. This is crucial because Tifa is somewhere or in the ballpark with these type of entities. If she's not, she's pretty freaking close. This kind of changes the game on what you thought her limits was if she's really up there with these summon entities. Like, it's one of them things where we never seen Tifa actually do this crazy stuff on screen. We never seen her actually fight like a Titan summon on screen or nothing. But like, if we assume that a lot of the summons are similar in raw power and they can compete with each other, that's a fair assumption, right? A lot of the summons should be similar to their own different summons power level, right? I mean, this summon, for example, Titan was said he can create earthquakes so great with his raw power that can rise a continent from the seafloor. I mean, it was even stated that this Titan being has earth-shattering strength. I mean, it's stated more than one time in the game that Titan has earth-shattering strength. Capable of crushing whole mountains. I mean, he said two different statements, earth-shattering and crushing whole mountains into one statement. Even if you don't want to take the earth one seriously, that mountain-shattering thing should apply for Tifa. She be giving hands to beings that be giving Cloud issues. You know, it's totally believable for her to have hits that can tremble or even break apart certain mountains. I mean, just think about the size of mountains. The size of a mountain compared to buildings. Like, this would drastically put her punching power being way strong enough to destroy skyscraper buildings and stuff if she can mess up something the size of a mountain, if we were to take them seriously of them being comparable to the summons. What do you think about that other statement? Other than mountain shattering stuff, like the other statement about them other summons being able to have the power to be able to raise a continent. Like, these beings have this type of energy production. Wouldn't that mean Tifa could technically, if we were to take that quote seriously, wouldn't that mean her hits would have to be way worse than just mountain shattering? I mean, Titan is the reason why Grasslands is here. Like, there's Grasslands region, so yeah, this big part of the land. This would kind of change the game for how potent their punches or attacks or slashes these Final Fantasy party members can produce, the energy these beings can produce. I wish we would see more stuff of them actually fighting the summons and the actual story stuff, though, I will admit, though. What do you guys think, though? Do you think if Tifa actually pulled up on Titan, do you think she would actually be able to give him some hands? Based on the lore of this beast, being an earth shatterer, a being that can tremble mountains, make continents rise? If we really was to take that earth-shattering statement seriously, that would be Tifa would technically be able to, like Tifa and Cloud and a lot of the powerhouses would technically have earth-shattering attack power, basically. Regardless of how you look at it, she can definitely hit with the force of a nuclear bomb or more. Her hits for like a falling star or falling meteorites. You know, the OG Final Fantasy, we've seen Cloud and actually hit these summons, like Bahamut, for example. And Tifa in this universe was one of them people that helped give him a boost. But I'm not really trying to focus on the original continuity type stuff. But this is not nothing new for them competing with summons and you know, Final Fantasy VII lore. You know, just something to think about. I mean, just look at it. Like Cloud, for example, got his sword compared to Odin's, being able to cleave through the fabric of creation of time between seconds. Said it's able to cleave anything in two. And Chadley, the guy that helps them get this materia, is jokingly making fun about how, oh, he might be stronger. His sword might be stronger than yours, Cloud, implying that there's not a full possibility of them being stronger than Cloud and them. Like, he literally said might trump Cloud's, like it does. He doesn't know for sure if it does. Like, what? Seemed like that would obviously trump his, but there's implications that they can compete with these summoned entities. See, the thing about this is that Sephiroth ends up getting this divine form where we literally, this is not even an assumption based no more. Like, we literally seen Sephiroth create his own version of an actual summon that we're used to. Bahamut, his own version of Bahamut that has similar powers and abilities to the Bahamut that we're used to. Like, you can literally see him do similar techniques. And Tifa is a part of the party to help take on such an entity. And Sephiroth just creating beings like this. Yeah, Sephiroth was overpowered. Yeah, don't ask. Tifa was part of the reason why they helped fight this. No, I'm not playing. Like, this literal thing was basically like a summon. They literally basically just fought a straight up summon on screen for us guys. So assuming they can fight on par with these summons that have this level of blast power, I'm talking about moon destruction type blast power type stuff. Her being able to attack with force or kicks or power in general enough to actually harm these summons with her super powered strikes, based on all the physical strength I've already showed that she can do in this, is definitely believable and not absurd sounding. Matter of fact, it was even stated when they actually got this summon is that this Bahamut in particular, the Bahamut that Sephiroth is basically duplicating, Bahamut Arisen, Whisperer, his own version of Bahamut, that this is an above average, like this is the type of summon Sephiroth is basically mimicking with his Whisperers, making his own version of a summon. The capacity for its destruction apparently surpasses that of the original Bahamut. Let that sink in. Doesn't this give you another perspective on these actual summon entities that these party members of this Final Fantasy have to deal with, Tifa included? If the version of Bahamut that Tifa and the party fought anything like the Bahamuts we've seen how destructive they can be. Like, I'm talking about planetoid type destruction, guys, doing catastrophic damage to continent-sized structure or worse, moon-sized structure with their blast. I mean, just look at this blast. In this cutscene, for example, like these are the type of beings that the party are fighting, beings that can cause this kind of continental type of destruction, moon type of destruction. And Tifa, along with the other party members, has to fight and defeat summons like this. I mean, Tifa's one of the few characters, she's using her bare hands and just straight normal kicks without necessarily using weapons like that. And yeah, these are the type of summons these beings have to compete with. I mean, we're getting into that neighborhood of Tifa and party members having fists that are heavy, like moon shattering type fists, type of impacts they can produce fighting these Bahamut beings. How Bahamut can dish out moon splitting power. If we assume his body's that durable, Tifa and them can hurt him with their blows. With her super kicks, chi enhanced punches, and her Materia amp punches, wouldn't you see Tifa in a new light considering all this? I mean, part of the reason why she could be able to hit so hard is it could be partly because of her speed. She can hit fast. An example would be like in this case, you see her zip or dash towards a being like pretty freaking quick. One can look at this like burst speed on how she can just zip and close the distance. Not to mention that the beings, these Turks that I keep bringing up in this video, the Shinra, great elite Shinra fighters, are implied to have good fighting speed to where even they can move like a blur, super speed type stuff. And you already know Tifa can keep up with them in fighting speed and everything. Matter of fact, the girl that moved like a blur, one of the Turks, we seen Tifa be able to react to. Matter of fact, even Turks that apparently have lightning fast type speed, like Reno stated in his lore, these lightning fast movements apparently, and it doesn't seem like this is an exaggeration when you see him move in cutscenes versus Cloud. Like, it looks like a trail of lightning. Like, it seems like it's literally accurate. So it's implied her reflexes can react to lightning type fast stuff, as a bare minimum one can say, because of her fighting speed. It's a common theme for these Turks that Tifa can also fight zip and move at bursts. I mean, as fast as Reno and these Turks are, it doesn't seem like there's a ridiculous speed gap. Tifa can compete and combat them, dodge their attacks, parry, block their attacks. Tifa's just on their level of speed and just strength in general. I mean, anyway, you know Tifa's built different when she can kick these ghost whisperer type entities away when they're trying to come at the party. But what do you guys think? Did you know Tifa was this strong? I'm thinking the chi manipulative stuff, or her being able to manipulate her inner chi. It's kind of like a classic martial artist thing in fiction. I think that chi stuff makes sense on probably why she's so superhumanly strong. She knows how to control her inner chi or energy. What do you guys think though? How strong is Tifa? Like, do you think they're going to make it to where she can actually suplex any structure in the game with the remake graphics? That would be crazy watching this type of stuff, her lifting up things that weigh over hundreds or thousands of tons in the remake trilogy. What do you think, guys? Do you think they're actually going to have it to where she can suplex things way bigger than herself despite the size difference in the new game? How would they animate that? I would totally love to see her do that in the remake saga, because I want to see her lift and suplex big stuff, you know? And I got to quickly say thanks for the donations, everybody. It helps out a lot, believe it or not. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.